Welcome to another Rooster Talk session. I've got Bryan here from the Mini Football Association. Bryan, long time no chat. How's things going?
Yeah, no, it has been a long time. It's great to be back on the Rooster Talk and having a coffee with Samso again. Yeah, things are coming along here at the Australian Mini Football Federation. We're just continuing on after the World Cup that we hosted in Perth in October. So, yeah.
How did that end up? You guys had a full. I was watching some of the games. Was it successful in the end?
Yeah, from an overall perspective, it was a huge success. Bringing an international competition or World Cup to Perth was a success in its own right, and showcasing Perth in its best form, and just bringing the best players from around the world to come and compete. So the roll-on effect from there is there's been a lot of interest from some people in big business to get involved and help develop the Australian Mini Football Federation. We've got some leagues setting up in Queensland, New South Wales and Western Australia this year in October. So we've been out there hustling the market, trying to get people to get involved with creating clubs and teams and from all ages and sexes. So it's still been full on, and this coronavirus hasn't really helped us, but it probably has helped us in a bit of its own right, is that there's no football on at the moment, so people might be still keen to play football even more so at the when October turns up.
Yeah, I think by all accounts, from what you hear from what's been on TV, the sort of the process of relaxation or process of release from our isolation is in place. I mean, I guess in some ways when everyone goes out, there'll be staff for activities, I guess, staff for human to human contact in some ways. From your federation onwards, are you guys continuing to sort of plan for the future or for the upcoming release, if you want to use those words?
Yeah, well, we're building towards October because we don't want to compete with Football Federation Australia, as in try and take the best players away from what they've got going on in the amateur leagues. But we want to wait until the Football Federation and like nationally and in each individual state have finished their competitions, and then we will launch. So we're continually talking to people and trying to get people involved, and like I said, set up those clubs and teams within those specific states, so that we can launch in October. So it's October to March is our key market for this season. And then we want to have a national championships early next year, pick a couple of Australian teams, some women's national team, and an Australian men's team, because next year in Kiev in Ukraine is the next edition of the World Mini Football Federation World Cup.
Okay. And I'm assuming the interest in the uptake of mini football's taken off a bit, or increased at least since the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been a huge awareness of mini football across Australia. It's just about getting people's mindset into that there's another federation out there that's not governed under Football Federation Australia that give people opportunities to play at high levels. If anyone did come or saw the World Cup played on the streaming sites, they would have seen that when the competition got to the pointy end of the stick, which was the finals, quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, extremely high level. And as Australia, we've got some improvement to do to try and compete at that level, and that's what we're trying to do by creating these leagues and identifying good players who semi-dedicate themselves to just playing the smaller side of the game.
It's a big task, right, to set all these up, even from a state level to a national level, and establishing these leagues. Are you getting any support from corporate?
Look, there's a lot of people, like we were talking to a lot of people prior, and we're still looking to get those corporate involvements under our wings so we can promote them and help promote the Mini Football Federation. But the coronavirus has sort of stopped a lot of things. Everyone's holding on to cash, that type of thing. They're laying off staff or putting them on standby, that type of thing. So yeah, there has been interest, but there's always the door is always open to speak to corporates to help promote their company or get involved in something that's such a good initiative for the community. It's a community-based product, and we're giving people that generally wouldn't have had an opportunity to play at a high level or play against international teams, whether they want to travel to, let's say, to Argentina or Chile or Brazil or US or even into the Africas, wherever across the world. We've got like a real tight-knit group within the WMF, World Mini Football Federation, that we can just pick up the phone and, when there's a tournament on, we can get involved, no problem.
And from the government level, are you getting help or better response in some ways?
Yeah, well, we've just finalised our final event report with the Australian Sports Commission, and we're discussing further funding through them. We want to go into the health department, the federal health department, and pitch some initiatives to them. But obviously, with this coronavirus, it's probably on the back burn at this stage. But yeah, absolutely, that's where we're targeting. Federal, states, that type of thing, when we're setting up state legs as well. So, yeah.
I mean, just as a thought, going to post, Corona release, and we're all out there, and obviously the economy is taking a big hit. I think that's an understatement. Maybe there could be an opportune time to hit the government or corporates. I mean, there may be a gathering of heads to say, something like this is quite good. It's getting people out there, get the involvement happening. Might be a good thing for you, Bryan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you totally, Noel, there. We need to obviously be festering those relationships with the higher corporates and get involved with them, and hopefully they can assist us in promoting, one, their brand, and two, the Australian Mini Football Federation for the growth, for the future. Yeah. We've only been operational for 4 years now. We've been to 2 World Cups, and we've hosted one of those. So, we're in a really good spot, and there's opportunities to put on like events within Australia that are live, similar to the World Cup. That's what we're looking to do with like big bashes or something like a big bash of mini football, and whether it's the top level amateurs playing or we've got a couple of different business models in relation to that we can pitch to people. The roll-off with the Football Federation Australia and what's happening with Fox at the moment. There's a lot of stuff happening there, so there's maybe some opportunities to slide in underneath there and get some TV footage from the locals here in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think of what's going to happen, and it looks like we might be lucky to get out of this a little bit better than we had thought of when all this happened. I do believe that things like yourself is actually going to be a very opportune activity for the population, to get people involved, get that mindset happening again. It's a
Well, we're ready to strike now. Like we've set up in place for Queensland, New South Wales, and Western Australia for this October. It's just up to the people to take part within the organisation's events and leagues that we've got going on, because we're just presenting opportunities for everyone, and if they're not involved, they're not going to have those opportunities. So hopefully everyone gets on board. And like, I've been around football my whole life. From when I remember, I started playing when I was 5 years old. I played, at quite a decent level, both here and then abroad. But it's like here in Australia. I mean, there was a podcast the other night with some of the best players that Australia's seen in the last 20 years, and they were it was called The State of Football or something like that, which was very, very interesting. And just the way that football's governed here in Australia, people are a little bit disheartened. So we're trying to give people the opportunity. We want to give back to people that create clubs and teams within there. If you've got a club, we don't want to take the money. You guys take the money. You know what I mean? You host the event. You take the money, pay for the referees, pay for the fields for the night or the day, and then just take whatever the profit is from there. All we're looking for is a membership fee, and that will include insurance for people. So if they get injured, it's just a similar model to what's good within football in Australia. We're taking those good things, but we're trying to develop it so people can either, one, if they're playing for Football Federation Australia under those banners, that they're rewarded for their hard work.
No, I think it's good. I mean, I was keen to have a chat with you guys because I look at what could be the new in the new world. What could be the ones that activities or businesses or concepts and whatever you want to call them that could be a latch on product. I think getting out, being active is going to be one. I think there's people talk about how we're going to be self-isolating every time. By the time we all come out, we'll all be overweight and all this. But funnily enough, most people are actually getting more fit now than in the normal days. So
yeah, absolutely. I think it's a mindset as well. Like if you're worried about the coronavirus, you're more susceptible to it. And it's a real thing. Obviously everyone should be concerned, and obviously playing in leisure activities like football or mini football, you're going to be in contact with more people. There's water bottles and that type of thing. So it's obviously it's a good thing that everyone's been made aware of. The issues that sharing bottles or touching hands or that sort of thing. I just think. I think you're right, Noel. I think it's a good opportunity at the end of the football season for people to jump on board with the leagues that we've got going in different states, absolutely, and keep healthy and create those social environments. It's all about social inclusion. That's what mini football's about.
Yeah, I mean, mini football is good. You're not the time, the number of people, the setup, not as extensive as a normal football game, or And a lot of people can just go in there for a couple of hours, have a good run on the pitch, and go home like how you would just go to the gym for an hour or two,
Yeah, that's it. Like mini football, it's generally around the 50 minutes to an hour long. You generally with a bunch of people that you really like to hang around. You might go out and have a couple of beers after, or out for dinner. So shooting into the economy already. After having a bit of stick around, and then if the club, for example, is hosting and they've got barbecue and beer and that type of thing, then it's just going to create a great environment for people to come down, parents, kids, just to watch football games and be involved in that activity.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic, Brian. I mean, I've always liked this concept. It's on par to this futsal that happens in Asia. I think it's a great concept. I really liked it the first time we did the, I think it's episode number 5 of Coffee and Samso down by the river with our
what are you up to now, Mom?
35. Rooster Talk's only 4 weeks old. We're probably down to 15, but we're doing about 4 or 5 a week, which is good. I mean, it's good to get engagement and get to talk to people, share some new concepts,
Yeah, well, you definitely broad in your spectrum of products or services that you do put out there, which is good. I watch them all the time. I saw the guy from the mine yesterday. I think it came out this morning.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. Thanks for giving us a good word there, Brian.
Mate, everyone, when you're listening to this, make sure you log in and look at Coffee at Samso, Rooster Talk. Noel Long is the man.
Yeah. All right, mate. Thanks for your time, and really appreciate you talking and giving me some time.
Anytime.
Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
All right, Noel. Take care.
See ya.